had a day to digest the loss to the Minnesota Vikings 23-17 Sunday afternoon, or Sunday morning, I should say. They'll bounce back SoFi Stadium this Sunday, 1:25 kickoff against the LA Rams, who are beat up as well. But where are we at with the Niners right now? The state of the 49ers, they're 1-1, and we know the injuries. Christian McCaffrey is going to be out for a while. He's on IR. He's missing at least the next 4. Deebo Samuel out for the next couple weeks, but who knows with a calf strain? Could be a month. Those things are tricky. And then when we think of calf strains, all of a sudden we think of Achilles. So you got to watch out for that when it comes to Deebo Samuel. Where are we at when it comes to the state of the 49ers? 888-957-9570. Plus, aren't you a little excited to see what Brock does without these weapons? Let's see what Brock is all about.
I'm ready to see what Kyle Shanahan looks like with these weapons, And, yeah, obviously Brock is a part of that.
Shanahan more than Brock?
Yeah, because, when I look at the great play callers, when people are out and down and out, they find a way to maximize what they do have. And what they do have is they do have a really good running back in Jordan Mason. I think one of the early revelations of the first couple games is like, wow, you've got something with Jordan Mason, right? So they still have a run game. You still have what I believe to be a borderline, if not, going to be Hall of Fame tight end. You've got an elite wide receiver who's obviously getting himself into game shape and whatnot. We got to get going here. And you've got another player in Juwan Jennings who you signed in the offseason and brought back, who is he's just a good player. He's not going to burn anyone away, and he's not going to, be at the top of fantasy charts. Juwan Jennings makes plays. He is a solid player. You have weapons. You still have a healthy offensive line, and so I want to see them bounce back. Does Brock have to play well? Of course. Of course they're going to need the quarterback to play well.
I look at Brock as saying, I know what Shanahan brings to the table. We've seen it for many years. Hell, we have people running with the Nick Mullins, has thrown for the most yards in his first career 3 starts than anybody outside of Mahomes, and who else? It was somebody else on the list. I forget. It was such an odd graphic. But we'll see. Yeah, but so I know what Shanahan can do when it comes to cooking up offensive plays and play design or whatnot. To me, this is on Purdy. That was the first game we seen Purdy without Christian McCaffrey. He didn't have a safety valve, and obviously it hampered him in this football game against Minnesota. It really did.
Jets game, they didn't have him either.
They didn't have him either.
Yeah.
So the second game against second game. So not having him on the road, not having that safety valve, it really hurt him. And hell, in the Jets game, you settled for 6 field goals. Now you don't have Deebo and Christian McCaffrey. And we seen when Brock didn't have Deebo, it was 17-17-17. Last week, it was 17. Can we get off that 17 number when one of these premium players do not play? So now that you're shorthanded, now that you're a little shorthanded, and all quarterbacks are going to struggle shorthanded. Hell, Joe Burrow's been struggling. He struggled to get the first week of the season without T. Higgins. Now, they were a lot better against Kansas City. Gesicki looked good and athletic. But I'm eager to see what Brock has. I want to see, okay, because the money's going to be out there. And the dollars and cents, it's going to move like the stock market when it comes to Brock Purdy. I know what Shanahan brings to the table. I've had 7 years of data on Kyle Shanahan. Now let's see what Brock has. I think it's more important for Brock here to play very, very well and execute the game plan and get the ball to the right spots.
Well, that I would agree with, because the players, the players have to make plays, right? And the quarterback's got to see. You could dial up the most perfect play in the world, and if they don't block it up front and the quarterback doesn't throw an accurate ball, you don't catch it, like all those things have to happen. Look at last night's game. It was Sirianni and Kellen Moore. They dialed up a perfect play.
Yep.
And Saquon dropped the ball.
Yep.
And then it's not so perfect. You know what I mean? So to your point, yes, guys got to go out there and make plays. I think with Deebo not out there, I think it's actually going to free up Brock to kind of look around and just hit the open guy. I did feel like he was a little locked in on Deebo because, hey, Deebo's making plays. I'm going to keep throwing to him. Whether we go back to the Detroit game where he targeted him a lot in that game, Super Bowl felt like a big Deebo game plan game. Certainly felt like the Jets game was big-time Deebo. In this game, although Deebo made a lot of plays, and I would have kept throwing to him, it felt like he was locked in on him, almost to a detriment, because there was the one you brought up was the first drive, but later on in the game, there was another one where Cashman made a really nice play where it was a play action, and he kind of pulled it back out on a like a normal window play. They like to hit those little like crossers, and it felt very predictable. Very predictable. I think maybe not having Deebo out there is going to kind of like relax Brock Purdy to just like, hey, we're just going to run plays. I'm just going to throw to the open guy.
Or could do the complete opposite, because last year he mentioned that when Deebo returned in Jacksonville, that now he felt comfortable. It feels much more relaxed to have Deebo in the huddle. Now Deebo's not going to be in the huddle. Number 23, Christian McCaffrey's not going to be in the huddle again. And look, the Jets game probably was a B- performance for Brock Purdy. It was okay. This one was probably a C- performance. I think there's a lot more pressure on Brock Purdy, and we're just afraid to say it. We're just afraid to say it because it's so easy to point the finger at Shanahan, point the finger at Shanahan. Shanahan was one with lesser quarterbacks. I think there's a lot of pressure on number 13 to continue to move the football and play a lot better than he did last week. But I don't know. Maybe Niner fans disagree with that. Rashad and Hayward. Rashad, what's happening? You're on the roast.
Hey, what's up, Bonte? What's up, Shasky? I'm not really worried. I'm with you, Bonte. I think it's time to show some resilience. I'm a next man up mentality type of person. I feel like Mason has came in, and I think he's done a really good job. I think we haven't gave him the credit that he deserves. I feel he's made some pretty big plays, and we've got a lot of flags that took a lot of breath out of us. You know what I'm saying? Also, they're talking about the pass out the backfield. We forget that, Juice is pretty good catching the ball out the backfield.
Yep.
We could use Juice a lot, and he can line up on the line as well. He's got hands, man.
Right.
And also, I feel number 85 is looking pretty good this year, man.
Yes.
I feel like he's balling out. I feel like Jawan needs to get a little more respect, too. He's a damn good baller, man.
Yep.
And the offensive line is looking good. And like I said, we've got a lot of just penalties that have took the breath out of us, man. And we just need to play cleaner ball. And I'm not worried, man. Sucker-free Niners all day. Let's go.
They've had 3 10-plus yard runs called back already in 2 games.
For holdings.
Yeah, like to his point, there have been a lot of flags out there. And then the Jennings part is actually a great one because I notice on multiple occasions when he's going through reads, as a second, third, fourth read, he really trusts Juwan Jennings, especially on 4th and 3rd down, and he's going through his progressions. Even if like a guy is within a step or two, it feels like Purdy truly trusts Juwan Jennings, and Juwan makes plays.
No, Juwan does make plays. Let's go to Charles in Fort Worth, Texas. Charles, what's happening? You're on the roast.
What's going on, boss? What's going on, Bonte?
What's up, Charles?
Hey, I'm not worried at all about what's going on with the team right now. And I think the pressure is going to be on Shanahan. I mean, he's boy genius. Now it's time to prove it. I mean, we know what Brock Purdy has been and what he will be. But at the end of the day, no, we're not worried at all. Bang, bang, down the game.
There it is. Charles not worried at all. Fort Worth, Texas. Now, a couple texts here. Xfinity the mobile text line. Good morning to them. So 408. I'm going to read 2 different texts.
Yeah, I'd like to hear them.
408. Quick grading quarterbacks when you don't even understand how they're played. You guys obviously never play quarterback. Brock Purdy is doing fine. Need to get the rest of the guys up to speed. Brock Purdy didn't play fine Sunday in Minnesota. I don't think he played his best football at all. Now, I can't wait to hear from Baldy about it, but I mean, I've watched a lot of quarterbacks. Yeah, I never played quarterback. Shasky, you never played quarterback, but watched a lot of football to know when a quarterback is playing well or not. Brock Purdy not played good football Sunday against Minnesota. It's okay to say that.
It doesn't take Bill Belichick or Bill Walsh to say, right now, Bryce Young looks really overwhelmed.
Right.
It doesn't take Bill Walsh or Bill Belichick to say, wow, Patrick Mahomes, even though he threw 2 horrific interceptions, yeah, he's pretty good.
Right.
Like anyone on their couch can diagnose this.
Now, I don't know where the plays are going, and I kind of disagree with anybody on their couch can diagnose this, but to say that everything is fine with Brock Purdy, it's okay to critique him when he doesn't play great football.
Well, I thought it was a mixed bag. He had a lot of good, and then he had a lot of bad. I thought it was all over the place. Like I'm trying to be objective because he did hit a couple of great throws across the middle. One of them to Kittle, he was just draped on him, and it was just an absolute dime. And there were a few times where there was nothing open, and he moved around in the pocket and evaded sacks. I mean, here's a great example. He was pressured from multiple sides, jammed out of this big-time, pocket collapsing on him, escaped to the outside. Should have been a 5-yard loss. He turned it into a 1-yard gain. Yep. Now, that's a play everyone's going to look at and be like, well, I mean, that's a big nothing. But it's like, wait a minute. That was a huge negate of a monster sack multiple times, and it's a 1-yard gain. Like, you might, not you, but the average person might not think about that play as some highlight play, but that keeps you on down in distance. No doubt. In a game where you were losing yards left and right in the second half, I thought it was a big play. He made 2 beautiful evasions of sacks and throws to Juice and Deebo on the sideline. He also threw a couple to Deebo over the middle that were high and behind him that could get him hurt and could get picked. And Deebo made some great catches. So, again, it was a mixed bag.
Exactly. It was a mixed bag, and it's okay. I still believe in this guy. I still think he's a really good quarterback who's played really good football over the last season and a half. But Sunday wasn't his best performance. It's okay to say that. 888-957-9570. We'll line him up as we get Baldy on here in just a couple minutes here. 925 extended mobile text line. We'll get to see if this team can actually win without Deebo and if they can trade him next year. It will also show if Brock is a system quarterback or a truly market setter, or if he's going to set the market. That's basically from 925. Is he a quarterback who's going to reset the market, or is he a guy who's just going to be
Well, Baker Mayfield is a good example of someone right now. Now, he's having a good year to start the year, 2 games, right? But he was good last year. And Baker Mayfield signed a 3-year, $100 million deal, give or take. He didn't reset the market. Now, you would say, Joe, Birdie's been better through the first couple years than Baker was the last year.
Right.
Sure, no doubt about it. But why does everyone have to get 60, 65 million? Just because the Green Bay Packers paid Jordan Love after 6 games doesn't mean that I have to. And plus it doesn't mean that that's exactly what Brock's looking for. I don't know. I think, yes, is there money that we're going to be going up and down like the stock market, to your point? I'm sure internally and with his agent, those things are conversations that are being had. But let's let the season play out. Let's just allow the whole thing to play itself out before we lose ourselves one way or the other.
I agree. Download the free Odyssey app.